Lost media. The thought of something that people once made to be consumed, to be enjoyed, lost to the winds of time. It's a devastating thought to think about, especially when you think about it, it's our fate one day. But enough of philosophy before we overthink it. Let's talk more about lost media. The term is not new for most of you, I assume. There are many instances of lost media around the world, and they take on a myriad of forms: music, commercials, cartoons, series pilots, you name it. Today, I want to talk about one of the most famous instances of lost media surrounding a television series that has become one of the most longest running science fiction ones in the entire world: Doctor Who. Doctor Who is a British science fiction television series broadcast by the BBC since 1963. The series, created by Sidney Newman, C.E. Weber, and Donald Wilson, depicts the adventures of an extraterrestrial being called the Doctor, part of a humanoid species called the Time Lords. The Doctor travels in the universe and in time using a time-traveling spaceship called the TARDIS. Which externally appears as a British police box, not a porta potty. While traveling, the Doctor works to save lives and liberate oppressed peoples by combating foes. The Doctor often travels with companions, mainly from contemporary Earth, or the occasional time-displaced ones, or even fellow aliens. The show's longevity can be attributed to one of its famous plot devices. When the Doctor is fatally injured, their cells regenerate and they are reincarnated into a different body with mannerisms and behavior but the same memories.
Leave the girl. It's the man I want. Take him to my laboratory.
I don't want to go.
I want to know what happens next. Right then. Doctor whoever I'm about to be. Tag. You're it.
With this, beginning with William Hartnell, 14 actors have headlined the series as the Doctor. as of 2024, and Ncuti Gatwa leads the series as the 15th Doctor. This plot device of regeneration explains each actor's distinct portrayal, as they all represent different stages in the life of the Doctor, and together they form a single lifetime with a single narrative. The Doctor can also change ethnicity or gender. In 2017, Jodie Whittaker became the first woman cast in the lead role.
Oh, brilliant.
And recently, in 2024, Gatwa became the first black actor to headline the series. The time-traveling nature of the plot means that different incarnations of the Doctor occasionally meet. Across time and space, the Doctor's many incarnations often find events that pique their curiosity and try to prevent evil forces from harming innocent people or changing history using only ingenuity and minimal resources, such as the versatile sonic screwdriver.
Even the sonic screwdriver won't get me out of this one.
The series was a massive success when it aired, having produced a grand total of 26 seasons for its classic run. It is a significant part of popular culture in Britain, and elsewhere it has gained a cult following. It has also influenced generations of British television professionals, many of whom grew up watching the series. The show is divided between two eras. The classic era aired in 1963 to 1989, and the revival era aired in 2005 onwards. We'll be focused more on the classic era where the lost media is more relevant. Between approximately 1967 and 1978, large quantities of videotape and film stored in the BBC's engineering department and film libraries were wiped or destroyed to make way for newer programs. This happened for several reasons, primarily the belief that there was no practical value to its retention. From a modern standpoint, it seems rather bizarre, but back then, television was seen as disposable. You aired it once, and there was no point in keeping the material around since it was almost never repeated. Various unions, including those for directors, writers, and actors, saw the concept of repeats as a threat, and therefore repeats were significantly restricted, and nothing over 2 years old could be repeated. Their concern was that if broadcasters kept the recordings of the original performances, they would be able to rebroadcast them indefinitely, which would reduce the amount of new production and therefore threaten the livelihoods of its members. But the biggest reason for this policy was also the most practical one. It was simply a matter of storage space. Yes, storage space. Most Doctor Who episodes were made on 2-inch videotape for initial broadcasts. Television in the pre-digital days was an epic undertaking. Ever since they got their first video cameras in the late 50s, the BBC had a policy of video inside, film outside filming. The lighter, more maneuverable film cameras were perfect for location shooting, but film couldn't be reused and was thus a fixed cost for any production. The video cameras, on the other hand, were bulky and heavy and required expensive videotape, but the tapes could easily be wiped and reused for later filming. They were also easier to edit onto compared to film, thus the concept of master tapes, which edited together the film and video footage and added any necessary effects. These masters as well would be wiped after the 2-year repeat period was up, so they could be reused. For overseas stations that wanted to show or pay to show BBC programs, they couldn't just send the expensive videotapes around the world. But there was another solution: telerecording. You see, by pointing a 16mm film camera at a screen showing a program on broadcast, a fairly high-quality negative recording could be captured. From that negative, numerous positive prints could be made, allowing for easy distribution to TV stations around the world. The only problem with this policy of wiping the masters was that it left only the 16mm negative remaining, and a large number of negatives required a large amount of space to store them all. The BBC had no central archive at the time. The film library kept the programs that had been made on film, while the engineering department was responsible for storing videotapes. They had little dedicated storage space and tended to place piles of film canisters wherever they could find space for them at their Villiers house property. The engineering department had no mandate to archive the programmed videotapes they held, although typically they would not be wiped or junked until the relevant production department or BBC Enterprises indicated they had no further use for the tapes. However, there were exceptions to the wipes. There was a process whereby creatives who worked on certain episodes, such as directors and actors, who could put in a request to the BBC archives that certain episodes they worked on wouldn't be wiped. Most notably, the first story of Doctor Who ever, An Unearthly Child, had all 4 episodes preserved in their original videotape master state at the request of Waris Hussein, the director. However, this process wasn't perfect. These requests were denied or fulfilled at the whim of the BBC archives, meaning it was 50-50. Hussein also requested that the archives keep all 7 episodes of the story Marco Polo, which he also directed, but this request was either denied or overlooked, leading to one of the most sought-after missing serials. Internally, the wiping policy officially came to an end in 1978, when the means to further exploit programs by taking advantage of the new market for home video cassette recordings started to become apparent. The prevailing view had also begun to shift towards the attitude that archive programs should, in any case, be preserved for posterity and historical and cultural reasons. VCRs had slowly become more affordable throughout the mid to late 70s, and the early success of movie releases on videocassette made the idea of releasing old TV shows suddenly a tempting one. Also, diehard fans such as Ian Levine, yes that guy, had campaigned to end the junkings of these earlier episodes. It has to be noted, however, that this wiping of archive master tapes was not exclusive to Doctor Who itself. Many broadcasters had routinely cleared their archives in this manner. Until the BBC changed its archiving policy in 1978, thousands of hours of programming in all genres were deleted. While I mentioned that Doctor Who was not unique with the wipings, as other series were affected by this mandate, what is unique to the situation for Doctor Who was that most of these missing episodes survive well enough in audio form, recorded off-air by fans at home. Most episodes are also represented by production stills, telesnaps, or short video clips. So at least there is a semblance of an episode, and anyone watching can still piece together the missing episode that they're watching. The first Doctor and the second Doctor's run are the ones affected by these missing episodes. Patrick Troughton's run is the most affected by this, having a total 53 episodes compared to Hartnell's 44, which is a shame because the second Doctor is actually really cool. As of writing this video, there are a total of 97 episodes currently missing from the archives. I'll do a special mention of an episode if they were extremely important to the show or just have interesting trivia. So here we go. From Hartnell's run, Marco Polo, all 7 episodes missing. The Reign of Terror, episodes 4 to 5 missing. Galaxy 4, episodes 1, 2, and 4 missing. The Crusade, episodes 2 and 4 are missing. Mission to the Unknown, all episodes missing. This story is the only standalone regular episode of the show's original run. It served as an introduction to the 12-part story The Daleks' Master Plan. The Mythmakers, all episodes missing. The Daleks' Master Plan, episodes 1, 3 to 4, 6 to 9, 11 to 12 are missing. The Daleks' Master Plan is the first story to feature companion deaths. It marks the first appearance of Courtney in Doctor Who. He returned in 1968 to portray recurring character Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, all episodes missing. This story marks the first appearance of Jackie Lane as companion-to-be Dodo Chaplet. It is also notable for being the first Doctor Who story directed by a woman, Paddy Russell, as well as the first time the lead actor played a dual role as the Doctor and the villain. The Celestial Toymaker, episodes 1 to 3 are missing. The Doctor would have regenerated in this story sooner, as he was turned invisible in this story, and when he was visible, he would have changed his appearance. At least that's what the original intention was. The Toymaker would later appear in the 60th anniversary specials played by Neil Patrick Harris. The Savages, all episodes missing. The Smugglers, all episodes missing. The 10th Planet, episode 4 is missing. This story is also notable as the first story to feature the Cybermen, a race of malevolent cyborgs that became a recurring adversary in later Doctor Who stories. The 10th planet in the title refers to the fictional lost planet in the Earth's solar system. You see, at the time of production, the solar system was generally held to consist of 9 planets, prior to the redesignation of Pluto as a minor planet. The last episode of this serial is missing. It is one of the most sought after of the missing episodes because it contains the historic first regeneration scene, even though a low quality truncated copy survives and is held in the BBC archives. And also notably, it will be the last episode to feature William Hartnell. I'm glad only the 4th episode of this is missing. Imagine seeing this episode and hearing the creepy, unsettling sing-song voice of this Cyberman.
What are you? We are called Cybermen. Cybermen? Yes, Cybermen. We were exactly like you once, but our cybernetic scientists realized that our race was getting weak.
Weak? How?
Our lifespan was getting shorter, so our scientists and doctors devised spare parts for our bodies until we could be almost completely replaced.
This version of the Cyberman would later reappear in the 12th Doctor run, reclassified as the Mondasian Cyberman.
It's a Cyberman. A Mondasian Cyberman.
From Troughton's run, The Power of the Daleks, all episodes missing. Being the first story of a new Doctor, this is personally a story I would want to be completed in my lifetime, seeing a post-regeneration story for the first time in Doctor Who history. Also, I just want to see these scenes in complete broadcast form.
In his problems, because it will end the colony. I am your servant. It spoke. Chet, did you hear? It could actually talk. Do many things, Lesson. But the thing it does most efficiently is exterminate human beings. Servant. It destroys them without mercy, without conscience.
The Highlanders, all episodes missing. This serial is the first appearance of Fraser Hines as companion to be Jamie McCrimmon. The Highlanders was the last purely historical story until Black Orchid in 1982. The Highlanders was also the first Doctor Who story to have its videotapes wiped, which occurred on the March 9th, 1967, just 2 months after its broadcast. The Underwater Menace, episodes 1 and 4 are missing. The Moonbase, episodes 1 and 3 are missing. The Macra Terror, all episodes are missing. The Faceless Ones, episodes 2 and 4 to 6 are missing. This story marks the departure of Ben and Polly, who were the last companions of the first Doctor. The end of this story also reveals that this story takes place at the same date as they left in the TARDIS, which was the War Machines. Also, the end of this story continues directly into the next one, which is The Evil of the Daleks, episodes 1 and 3 to 7 are missing. This story marks the debut of Deborah Watling as the Doctor's new companion, Victoria Waterfield. It is also notable for introducing the Dalek Emperor. Thankfully, the episode in which Victoria first appears, episode 2, is held in the BBC archives. This is also one of those stories that I want to see completed in my lifetime because if the animation reconstructions, short clips, and production stills are any indication, it's that the Dalek Emperor prop and the set is really impressive.
Your Emperor speaking. There is danger here. Obey me. Do not fight in here. Do not fight in here. I said, obey.
And considering the shoestring budget of the classic show, which led to, shall I say, cheap effects. Also to note, Evil of the Daleks at the time was rare in that it was repeated in 1968 and was the only story in the 60s that was done so. The Abominable Snowman, episodes 1, 3 to 6 are missing. The story is notable for the introduction of the Yeti and the Great Intelligence. The Great Intelligence would later appear in The Web of Fear, and most recently in the Matt Smith era in Series 7. The Ice Warriors, episodes 2 and 3 are missing. This story marks the debut of the Ice Warriors. The Ice Warriors also returned in the Matt Smith era and was last seen in the 12th Doctor era. The Web of Fear, episode 3 is missing. This story marks the first appearance of Nicholas Courtney as Colonel Alistair Lethbridge Stewart and is a precursor to later serials involving the unit organization. By the way, this episode would have been completed, but the third episode got stolen on its way back to the UK. Go figure. Fury from the Deep, all episodes are missing. This story is the last story to feature Victoria Waterfield and also marks the first appearance of the Doctor's gadget, the sonic screwdriver.
It's a sonic screwdriver. Never fails. There we are. Neat, isn't it? All done by sound waves.
The Wheel in Space, episodes 1, 2, and 4 to 5 are missing. This story is notable for the first appearance of Wendy Padbury as companion Zoe Heriot. This story is also the first one to introduce the Cybermen teardrop motif in their eyes. The Invasion, episodes 1 and 4 are missing. The Invasion marks the appearance of Unit, the second appearance of Lethbridge Stewart, now promoted to Brigadier, and introduces Corporal Brenton, later to become a sergeant during the Third Doctor's era. The Space Pirates, episodes 1, 3 to 6 are missing. Something to note, Third Doctor stories were also junked, but most of them were recovered immediately. The biggest recovery for the Second Doctor would be in 1992, with the Tomb of the Cybermen. This previously poorly regarded Second Doctor story wound up becoming one of the most best regarded today. Imagine how creepy and unsettling this episode would be if it was just still images, audio only, and short video clips, especially with the cyber controller.
You! Ah! Let me go! I set you free! It was our plan! You belong to us. You shall be like us.
The second motherload of episodes that completed a Second Doctor story was in 2013, with the recovery of all episodes of The Enemy of the World. The Web of Fear would have been the same, but as we just found out, the third episode was stolen en route. Please give it back! So anyways, those were the missing episodes of Doctor Who and the background surrounding it. I do hope that one day, again hopefully in my lifetime, all of these missing stories get completed and that we can watch them again and appreciate the hard work that the cast and crew poured into them to deliver Doctor Who history. And that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making this video talking about one of my favorite series. Let me know in the comments what kind of topics I should talk about next. And as always, like and subscribe to the channel. I think I'm starting to find my groove into video content creation. I hope. No promises, but I hope. Anyways, take care, stay safe, and I'll speak to y'all later. Bye-bye!